Dear friends, my fellow educators, my name is Walter Skaje. I'm a Vice Rector for Research and Development at the RISEBA University of Applied Sciences, and today it's my honor and pleasure to share with you some insights on the role of educators in the age of digital transformation and building the digital leadership. With such an intent, I have prepared 3 stories for you today. The first one is about the changing world, the second about all the things digital and some creatures digital as well, and the third one is about the leadership of the digital age. So let's start with the changing world. I believe I need to invite an expert to our presentation. My first expert today is the 35th President of the United States, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who has said that change is a law of life, and those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. And I strongly believe this is quite true. The same way as you don't drive just by looking in the rearview mirror, you don't lead your businesses, you don't assist your students in growing their skills and capabilities for the modern world just by looking into the past. If we're looking forward to the future societies, we don't forget the lessons from the past. So time from time we take a short glance into the rearview mirror, at the same time having a full control over the world where we are today and having the outlook for the future world is what helps us to be successful. In the digital age, we are encountering numerous changes that help us as businesses and educators build for the future, build for future societies, and keep them sustainable and able to meet the challenges of this changing digital world. And there are some changes which are indeed very influential today. Two of the main forces driving the change in the world today are globalization and digitalization processes that have overwhelmingly shaped our societies. Let me start with globalization, how it shapes the world today. First of all, the population of the world is growing tremendously. In 1900, there were 1.65 billion people in the world. But today, congratulations friends, we have grown to 8 billion population and still growing. Well, we might say this is the inevitable development of the world, but how it shapes the education and the business. First of all, world becomes a single common marketplace. It means that we are thrown into the global competition. And being in the global competition, we have to learn to run our business in a quite different manner. We need to learn new ways of doing the business. We have to learn about new consumers, their behaviors, their attitudes, their lifestyles, about their preferences for certain products, packaging, also their ability to understand the knowledge we are bringing to them as educators by our study programs, by the courses we develop, and they might be perceived quite differently based on the cultural background and experience of our audiences. And the audiences had not just grown, they have changed tremendously. If you look at the chart on the screen, you might see that the most of the growth in the world currently is coming from Asia. At the same time, it's slowing down, and Africa is taking the lead, which means generally that from the perspective of the development of the world, we know just a little bit about our consumers, about our students, about the cultures we encounter. Do we really know them in depth? Are we ready for these challenges, or should we also adjust the way how we train our audiences, how we educate our students, how we build them into prosperous and successful business people for the future? Well, globalization is inevitable, so we have to embed that understanding of the global marketplace and global competition in each and every step we take to educate our audiences. As 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, has said, globalization is a fact because of technology, global supply chains because of changes in transportation, and we're not going to be able to build a wall around that. That means we're thrown into the processes of globalization, and we have embraced them. However, the globalization is not just the growth of the population in the world. It's also the growth of information generated by this population. And humanity is generating more and more data each year. That growth is exponential. If in Middle Ages it took a few centuries to double already the limited amount of information in the world, if measured in bytes, then today we generate almost 3 quintillion bytes of data every day as humanity. So what does it mean? Is this an opportunity for businesses to be more successful? Is this an opportunity for us as educators to help our students to grow and become more knowledgeable, more able to make their business decisions? Not just this. This is an opportunity indeed. However, it is also a challenge. It is a challenge, first of all, for us as people of the world make our decisions. The more there is data, the harder it is to make a rational decision based on this data. Processing enormous amounts of the data generated by humanity requires certain efforts, which are quite complicated tasks for our minds. And the same is true for business. Many businesses believe that the more data they have, the easier it will be to make business decisions. However, is it really so? In many companies, customers today are becoming just zeros and ones in their big data without the proper understanding of every consumer's needs. So digital age brings its challenges to us. Moreover, most of this information, which is generated by humanity, almost 78% of that is consumer-created information through the interaction of consumers themselves. Anything starting from social networks, email correspondence, and other data that is generated by humanity. Today, the consumers are influencing each other more than ever before. They create the information, they become the real world influencers, the ones whom we ask the advice for our purchases or our life decisions are our friends, colleagues, acquaintances, even the virtual friends. So they influence our decisions. And it's quite true also for purchasing decisions. Today we have embraced significant change of the world. This is not about us as businesses selling something to our consumers. It's about those consumers making their own decisions, being influenced by other consumers in the market. They make their purchase decisions, and the best we can do as businesses is influence and drive these purchasing decisions. This is a change of the paradigm in business and in our world as well. As Bill Gates has said, we're living in quite exciting time in the world of information. It's not just the computer, which has been a great tool. This is also a place of business where it is moving faster, and globalization is forcing companies to do things in new, novel ways. And today, we're building the sustainable society on new pillars of the digital age. First one of them are the new technologies that had found their way into our lives, and they are expanding more and more. The second one is effective use of the data by business, so that we really do not become just numbers in their big data. Third one is embracing a green thinking. Adopting technologies is just one facet of our world. Adapting technologies in the way which facilitates sustainability of the whole world, sustainability of our ecosystem, is a much deeper and much more challenging task. And finally, last but not least, it's the sustainability of human capital, where we, educators, invest the most of our efforts. This leads me to our second story, the story about all things digital and some creatures digital. I would like to challenge the paradigm which most of the companies and education institutions, so let's call them all organizations, still believe today. They believe that digital transformation it is mostly about the automation and digitalization of the processes for the sake of them becoming more effective and cost saving to us. Is this really so? 10 years ago, in 2014, the world experienced the digitalization process, which was pretty much different from what we experience today, the digital transformation. There is a significant difference among several terms which are commonly used interchangeably, but they are not quite interchangeable. First of all, digitization, or transfer of the analog information into the digital form. It's like you scan a page of the book, or you scan a letter and it becomes digital. At the same time, the essence of this phenomenon hasn't changed. Digitalization, which took the world over 10 years ago, is the next step in this process. We are digitizing not the results of the processes, so not the phenomena, but the processes themselves. But those processes are not changing much from what they used to be in the brick and mortar world. So transfer of the processes from the brick and mortar world into the digital world without changing them significantly mostly would represent what we call digitalization. So it's like you used to bring a document for a signature to some of your colleagues or boss. You used to do it in the past, running around with a paper in your hand. Today, you are just sending an email or using the document management system in your organization. But generally, the processes stay the same. Digital transformation is different. Digital transformation, it's the development and introduction of completely new routines and new processes that add more value to what we have done in the past for our organization and its customers. In era of digitalization, most of digital activities were implemented in customer-facing functions of the company. Digital competencies were quite often outsourced or they were acquired through acquisition. And that was the time when digital marketing agencies had their rise. Well, this was a time when we coined terms like digital marketing, customer engagement, when we looked at different content for mobile and desktop. But today, this has changed over the last decade. We're looking to digitalization of all the functions within the company, not just customer service, which might be insufficient advantage. We are building those digital competencies and technologies all across the company. We focus our investments in building the digital ecosystems that contribute to each function of the business. So we transform our business. We build digital strategies, digital supply chains. We are introducing completely new processes, and we are creating digital strategies. We are developing the models that transform our businesses completely. It's a major change. And over the last 10 years, it has entered also the education industry, and we have to adopt those digital rules of the game to be successful and sustainable in the future. We might simply say that the world is facing a major change which is driven by technology. But sometimes it's not that simple. As said before, sometimes people just become numbers in big data. We forget about our customers. We do not encourage our students, particularly business students, to think of the people around. They sometimes tend to misinterpret the digital transformation and just care about the technologies. But are the changes in the world only about bots or smart self-driving cars? Probably not. It's more than this. In the digital age, consumer lifestyles change significantly. They adopt new technologies for the living. They might be studying or working in the remote. During the years of pandemics, we have learned novel ways of doing the business more effectively with the help of technologies. We're now traveling around the world without leaving our office. We have encountered the new phenomenon of digital nomads all around the world. So people have changed, their lifestyles have changed. And people had adopted new technologies faster than ever before. In the past, for the leading digital applications or technologies like Uber, like Telegram or Spotify, more than 5 years were required to reach 1 million active monthly users. Even a couple of years ago, when TikTok took the world over like a storm, it took 9 months for them to build this user base. But in 2023, ChatGPT did it in just 2 months' time. So the adoption of new technologies is much faster than ever before. How it changes the human world? Let me convince you that there are some expectations that still remain very much the same. They are even elevating, they are growing in terms of the expectations which are raised against the businesses, the deliverables of any organization, including educators. First of all, this is about being very personal, being truly personalized with your service and understanding the needs of our audience. Our customers are not just ones and zeros in our database. They are people, and they are expecting that they will be building the relationship with companies. They expect that any of our replies to their inquiries will be quick. They will be personal, and they will assist in building the relationship between us and them. Sometimes companies tend to replace a lot of their communication and customer service channels just with digital channels. But are we good in servicing the customers in this digital world, or should we learn some new ways to deploy the technologies? If a company has a lot of social accounts, will it make customers' life better? Assuming that company is not communicating relevant information there? Probably not. We have to think of the customer, of the human being first, about the student if we are the organization that serves, as we educators do, our audience by providing education services. It is important to remember that there are no just purely virtual organizations. There are no purely virtual societies and customers. There are real people out there in the market, and there are real organizations, including educators, who are serving them, building relationship with that market. The only difference from the past is that this relationship is built in the digital world. And if it's built in the digital world, we have to establish a new type of relationship with our audiences. And there, the top human experience, the top customer experience, top student experience, any kind of human experience becomes a priority. And technologies are just tools to ensure that we generate more value for our audiences. This is different from the traditional paradigm of technologies saving us money and making our efforts more effective. We might say even that technology today has a new mission, improving the life of humans, including our educatees. My next expert, Virginia Rometty from IBM, once when she was asked about AI, that buzzword which today is quite hot topic all around the world, had said that some people might call this artificial intelligence, but in fact technologies will help us to become better. They will enhance us. And instead of artificial intelligence, she sees AI as augmented intelligence, taking the best from the human and technology worlds and blending them to generate the value for humanity. As people are changing, their lifestyles are changing, technologies are changing, and these changes are heavily interrelated. We might say that digital transformation is a change in a people, not just technologies. And it draws a new paradigm for the sustainable society. Human to technology interaction. This is where I see the most of the value generated in the future societies. It is a complex change of societies, the way we think, the way we behave, corporate strategies, people and technologies at the same time, not just being limited to the changes that happen in technologies alone. And if there are people, there are also special kind of the people for future societies. Mark Benioff from Salesforce, speaking at Davos Economic Forum in 2016, has said that coming years will be a time of digital leaders. And the digital revolution will give them power and tools, game-changing technologies to build new societies, and every country in the future will need a minister of future. So, digital leadership, digital leaders. That's a new term, and the same as in today's world, we educators, we help to coin these leaders for our today's world. We probably have a mission of building the digital leaders for the future, which raises a question. Who are you, the digital leader? What kind of qualities a digital leader needs to have in order to drive this future world, to drive sustainable society? This is the topic for our third story. Leadership of the digital age. And obviously I have an expert again. So the 34th President of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower, who had taken role of a leader both on the battlefield and leading the country after in the prosperous times of peace, has said that leadership, it is the art of getting someone else to do something you want just because he wants to do it. This is quite a valuable quote, but do we really follow these principles in our everyday life? Most of organizations still today believe that leaders should be a seasoned professional in the industry and having some experience and capabilities of administration. Is it really enough for the future world to have these capabilities? Let's explore it a little bit by looking at the changes that have happened quite recently in the world and are driven by technologies. According to European Vocational Education Centers, CDFOPs, it is likely that 60% of the professions can be automated by at least a third of their functions. Already in 2017, more than 300,000 bots were servicing users on Facebook. So the automation has entered our lives, with particularly fast pace, and likely it is here to stay. According to a study done by Oxford University and Deloitte, it is anticipated that by the end of this decade, around 18% of the employees in public administration in the United Kingdom will be replaced by bots. And 90% of these replaced people will be customer-facing front officers. Do we really are encouraging by the use of technologies the growth of unemployment? Will be those people made redundant? I don't think so. And let me explain why. Digital world requires new competencies. And if you look at this picture showing the best jobs in the United States, so the most sought for and the best paid jobs in the United States, we see that the professions that are building the top of this pyramid, like machine learning engineers, data scientists, computer vision engineers, are professions that never existed or were very limited a few decades ago. Today, we are learning new ways of building societies. Today, we are building the new ways of using technologies. And those people who will not be needed in their current roles should be retrained, uplifted, educated, so that they fit the needs of the future society. And maybe people who were servicing the customers at the front office desk in the future will be assisting bots who are providing the service. At the end of the day, around 80% of the typical inquiries by the customers can be answered and well handled by technologies, which will give us an opportunity to spend the remaining 20% on providing a higher quality service by using human efforts. That's what we might relate to what Ginny Rometty has said about augmenting the intelligence. And it means that Peter Drucker, one of the fathers of modern management theories, was quite right when he said that today we live longer than ever before, and even the smartest people among us will come back to school not just once in the lifetime to learn new skills and new competencies. And this is the task for us educators. Sustainable societies are already building for future skills, and that's where we give our contribution as well. We are developing the human capital of the future, by investing our efforts in training our students, training and reskilling labor force in this fast-changing market affected by technologies and globalization. And sustainable human capital starts with the personal qualities, not just with technical skills and competencies. Some new competencies will be also very valuable for the digital leaders, for people whom we develop at universities, at vocational training institutions, by building those future digital leaders. What kind of qualities should they have to be able to develop future societies? First of all, I believe they need to be agile. They need to be decisive, able to adapt to ever-changing world, because as Professor Len Megginson from Louisiana State University in 1963 has said, if I would be Charles Darwin and I would be writing a book on origin of the species, I would say, and it was said about business, not the most intellectual species survive, not the strongest species survive, but the ones who are the most adaptable to the changing environment in which they find themselves. So this is about the business. And our leaders should be able to lead the business in that time of change. They need to be open to new knowledge, ready to experiment, because there are a lot of unknowns out there in the world. So agility is one of those qualities. Another quality which is required by modern digital leaders is being able to be really strategic in everything they think, everything they do, everything they deliver in their organizations and beyond. What does it mean to be strategic? It means you have to be open-minded, ready for the world of change, able to see the opportunities rather than barriers in this world, being able to navigate the cluttered world of a growing amount of information, which makes our decisions much more complicated, and being able to support our own opinions, explain what do we believe is right, and being quite able to see new ways in the world, because the world is changing each and every day. We change along with it. Envisioning those ways, being able to design our route to more valuable position in the business and in this world is a part of the strategist's worldview. And the third quality of the modern leader of the digital world is ability to be a team player, being empathic and open to feedback, listening to what our customers, what team members expect, and being able to be inspiring for the future. And at the same time, being close to ground, not too formal, and also not having the pink socks or glasses. Being creative doesn't mean just to generate new ideas for the world. Those ideas should be implementable, attainable, and serving the purpose of generating the value for our customers and our organizations. To sum it up, I might say that we don't look today just for seasoned professionals with some experience in administration. We're building new digital leadership for the future world. And digital leadership means ability to engage and lead complex global teams of humans and technologies alike. As technologies have come to our world to stay here, to contribute to our organizations, and, well, become members of our teams. So at the end of this presentation, just a brief summary. What shapes the sustainable society in this digital world? First of all, it's human to technology interaction, a change of societies, philosophy, corporate strategies, people, and technologies themselves. And the second is digital leadership qualities. So people who are able to engage and lead complex global teams which are comprised by both humans and technologies. We ourselves, as educators, we are the leaders of this digital age. We define the face of business, the education and public administration of the future by our efforts, by our ability to train our educatees for the future. And this is the way how we shape our societies, how we build them into sustainable future societies. Thank you for your attention, and I hope that these insights will help you to become digital leaders and help your students to become digital leaders of the future society as well. Good luck in these endeavors.